It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 10 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at 2 new sneak peeks that were recently released for the upcoming episode of The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 3, which is called Ghosts, and we're going to be breaking it down. So the first sneak peek we're going to look at is actually the opening minutes, and the opening minutes is actually pretty interesting. It's very different than the other opening minutes that we usually get for the episodes. In this opening minute for this upcoming episode, it's basically giving us a taste of 24 hours, give or take, and basically moments within that 24 hour, giving us an indication of what's going on and the threat that's basically looming, which is pretty interesting, and I'll get into what I mean by that. So we start with hour 1, 6 a.m., and then we basically get a shot of Alexandria, and the other thing, all of these are at Alexandria. So then we get a shot of Carol. She wakes up, she takes a couple pills, which is interesting. We talked about that before, and it could be very important in this upcoming episode in terms of how eating the pills could impact her and the decisions that she makes. And then we have hour 2, Carol goes out, and then Eugene sees a couple walkers coming in, and then we basically have Gage and Lara going out to kill the walkers that Eugene saw, and then we have hour 4, Lara and Gage kill the walkers that are around Alexandria. And one other thing, Gage is obviously the Hilltop teen, and Lara is the Xavier. Just wanted to put that out there. And then after they kill the walkers, Gage kind of puts on a little show, and Lara smiles and everything. It's an interesting duo. I don't know if they're trying to get them together or something, but it's interesting. And then we have a couple more walkers coming in, a lot more than what they initially saw. And then Lara basically radios in, and then we have hour 6. So we have more people going out, trying to take care of the walkers. So we see more waves and waves of new walkers coming in. So that's interesting. So then Lara and Gage talk to Aaron and the group, telling them what they saw. And then we have hour 11. So we have Aaron fighting off the walker. He kills the walker, and he basically gets up and he sees more walkers coming in, and there's walkers already on the ground that have been killed. And then we have hour 13. So we have Aaron again. He looks up, he sees Eugene. Eugene tells him to come up, and then they look. There's even more walkers coming in. And then we have this shot of Aaron, Eugene, Michonne, Siddiq, Daryl, and Lara right here. And I think that's Father Gabriel. Aaron says they keep coming in from the direction of the border, just constant wave after wave. So it seems like Alpha and the Whisperers are sending waves and waves of walkers towards Alexandria to burn them out in a way. Maybe this is their way to give them a warning, to basically have them as weak as possible before they actually meet up with them. That takes me to my second point. I think what we might potentially see is when Alpha has already sent waves and waves of walkers, and they've already kind of killed a bunch of them, and they're tired, then we're going to have Gamma and the Whisperers show up, telling them to meet at the border. So then, they don't have a lot of fight in them. Carol says, "Is this her?" referring to Alpha, and then Michonne replies, "You know your training, lock it down." Obviously, there's snippets of scenes missing. Then we have hour 14. Michonne sees the wall of Alexandria, which has been compromised, and then she looks up, she sees more waves of walkers coming in, and then we see hour 19, and they kill a couple walkers again. Then hour 22, they kill more walkers, Gabriel, Aaron, and the rest. And then hour 24, we have Alexandria in the morning now. We do hear voices of walkers as well as characters killing walkers and things like that. So they're still fighting the walkers. Then we have hour 31. We have more walkers coming in, and some of them getting killed by just hitting the security mechanism that they have set up at the Alexandria safe zone. Then we have Daryl killing one walker, and then we have hour 37. Then again, it is nighttime. They kill more walkers. Hour 44. So it's roughly 2 days, not 24 hours. Daryl killing walkers. We have Michonne killing walkers. And then we basically maybe see the end of it. So we have Father Gabriel. He's exhausted. He's just sitting down. And then we have Carol and Eugene and Michonne. They're just basically waiting around, but they're not killing walkers. So maybe the waves of walkers is over at this point. Maybe that morning they're gonna see Gamma and the Whisperers show up at their gates. The second sneak peek is actually Eren and Negan talking. It's a conversation between them. So Negan says, if you don't protect what belongs to you, then sooner or later it belongs to someone else. That goes for your land, your wallet, your home, your country, everything. It is your job as a man to protect it. It's the story of America, the story of the whole goddamn world. There isn't nothing changing it. Not you, not me, nobody. That's very interesting, just that alone. So obviously Negan and Eren are going to be in a situation where they're going to be by themselves, which is interesting. And the conversation that they're going to have is also very interesting. From one aspect, Eren was in Negan's lineup scene. That alone makes this conversation very interesting. And the second aspect of it is that Eric died during all that war. And Eren and Eric were together. So Eren pretty much blames Negan for Eric's death. So that's another part of it, which is going to come up, which I'm going to talk about. But what Eren is pretty much saying here is that you have to protect what's yours. And that goes for everything. So Negan is pretty much trying to give him like a pep talk, give him advice. And then Eren says, are you saying Eric's death was my fault? So that's what I talked about. So that's very interesting. And then Negan kind of looks at Eren and he looks a little pissed that he even brought it up. And then Eren says, well, if I failed Eric, then you failed your wife. Obviously, Eren is referring to Frankie, one of Negan's wives, not Negan's first wife. One of Negan's wives during the apocalypse, who died by the hands of Alpha and the Whisperers, and she was one of the Heads on Pike's victims. Then Negan kind of gets triggered a little bit, and he says, careful, and Eren says she died hating you, which is pretty accurate, and then Eren says, and you'll never see her again. And then Eren says, you want to say something? And I love Negan's response, he says, yeah, I do. But then we have walkers attacking Eren. Now at this point, I thought Negan's gonna kill the walker and save Eren, but it didn't go down like that. Eren kills the walker and then he looks up. There's something very interesting going on here because it seems like something with the walkers may have made him sick because he can't see properly. Very interesting. Someone brought it up that the walker was radioactive. That's possible, certainly. And why I say that is because the satellite that crashed could have been radioactive because it came from space. And if walkers interacted with that satellite that hit, they could have had some radiation on them. Very, very interesting. Now, on any other day, I would have loved that idea. But given what they did with Fear the Walking Dead and with Alicia, I'm kind of over it because they pretty much ruined that story altogether in Fear the Walking Dead. But I'm still very interested to see what they're going to do with Eren. I don't think he's going to die, but maybe he'll get sick a little bit, which is very interesting. And then Eren looks around, he doesn't see Negan, and then he screams for Negan. And then that's the end of the sneak peek. That's very interesting. So it seems like in the TV show, Negan's escape may not necessarily go down the same way it did in the comics. It could, but maybe they're gonna remix that a little bit. But the other thing to keep in mind is that Negan has been seen in scenes in the trailer at Alexandria after. But that's pretty much my sneak peek breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.